Hey everybody, I came across a fabulous study that I want to know who paid for because it really just told me what pretty much everybody should already know. It was kind of obvious. So, I'm going to talk about the obvious answer to a comfortable retirement that most do nothing about. This is something that I have conversations, especially with people that are eyeing retirement, say within 5 years of retirement. This is when we really got to start planning this out, penciling out when we're going to take Social Security. You don't have to write that in stone, but trying to figure out what your budget looks like. How are we going to pay these bills? What's your portfolio look like? All those wonderful things. A lot of adjusting and planning needs to be done within that 5 year period before retirement. And this is the secret. This is the special sauce between people that enjoy their retirement and people that don't. I see a lot on the internet about magic number. You have to save this much before you can retire, and it's so irrelevant. I know people that enjoy their retirement on $3,000 a month, and I know people that don't have enough money even at 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 a month. Everybody has a different budget and a different ability to spend money. So the reality is we need to make sure that you have your most comfortable and enjoyable retirement possible. That's where this really comes into play. So let's talk about this magical study that told us what we already knew. So I call it the study of the obvious. Employee Benefits Research Institute. I don't know who funds them, but they study the obvious apparently. They found out that guaranteed income may help retirees preserve assets longer. It found that many retirees with predictable income streams were able to maintain greater financial flexibility later in life. Well, let's break this down from a very logical standpoint. The more guaranteed income you have, the less you rely on your savings to fund your retirement. Kind of obvious there. The less you need your savings to fund your retirement, the more comfortable you are at investing it properly. More income equals more enjoyment. It's the reality of it. I have endless examples of this, and I see it every single day. I have plenty of clients with big 7+ figures, 8-figure accounts that still kind of struggle spending money and still kind of internally worry about running out of money and will we have enough, and we never know how long we're going to live, and we don't know how much long-term care is going to cost. It's still inside them no matter how much I cheer them on. Universally, income creates a bigger impact on somebody's retirement. Period. Period. There is a full stop after that. I am absolutely convinced of it. I could go through every single one of my clients, and universally, the ones that have income that pay their base living expenses and then some are the ones that don't worry about money. It's just the reality of it. You need to sit down and look at your situation logically. And that's the biggest and first and most important conversation I have with people that are getting close to retirement. Let's look at what your budget looks like. Now, let's look at what our sources of income look like. Fewer and fewer and fewer people have pensions. More and more and more people only are relying on their Social Security as their sole source of guaranteed income. And some people even question whether that's guaranteed. I got news for you. You should probably question your pension more than you should question Social Security. We can just conjure money out of the air to fix that problem. It's actually a quick little tax fix. But that being said, they were not here to argue whether Social Security is solvent or not. Income gives you the confidence to enjoy and spend the money you saved. It's a weird paradox. The reality is the less income you have, the more you worry about running out of your savings. It's really that simple. And I see it over and over again, and I don't care how much money you have saved. It's universal. So, what are your sources? What are your choices? How do I fix this? My Social Security is my Social Security. Well, yes, I get that. My pension is my pension, or I just don't have pension. So, Social Security, okay, some little tips. If you're married, maximize it for we, not I. That's a we decision. Some people need help understanding that, okay? The biggest difference between we and single people is the higher Social Security survives. So statistically, one of you living past, say, 85 makes a big difference for the higher Social Security. Okay. The longer you live, the longer you should wait. I use that 85. That's kind of my hard, fast rule. We have no idea how long we're going to live, but the likelihood of two people, of one of you living past 85 is pretty darn good. 85 is that pretty rock solid crossover point where waiting till 70 pays off. Don't underestimate your cost of living adjustment over time. Those of you that have had experience with your cost of living adjustment, your Social Security income, it goes up a tiny bit, but then Medicare cost goes up. Well, at least the income went up to cover that Medicare raise. But then when we actually saw some inflation, that's when people said, "Ooh, I got a nice big raise," and they felt good about themselves. Well, we went through 20 years of 2 or 3% inflation, and your raises didn't really feel like you got anything. But when we actually saw inflation, we made a big difference. And when you look at the projection out of the average cost of living adjustment of only 2.3, watch your 4,000 a month income turn into 6,000 a month income pretty quickly. Most pensions don't have cost of living adjustments. Now, I got news for you. A 5% raise on a smaller number is less dollars than a 5% raise on a bigger number. And that compounding every year makes an enormous difference. So, those of you that are worried Social Security is going bankrupt, take it as soon as possible, bird in the hand. I get it. I get it. But if we're trying to plan for longevity, if we're trying to plan to enjoy our retirement, there may be other ways to bridge the gap to take that Social Security a little later and have higher income, giving you more confidence. Pensions. It's very similar to the Social Security conversation. Okay. You need to understand your pensions. Everybody's pensions have different systems in place and rules in place. Know your benchmarks. I know some people that if you hit that 20-year mark for that company, that the pension quadruples. Some of them have those kinds of benchmarks. So you don't want to retire one day short of that, right? So you got to know your pension and know what your choices are and how it grows. It's very important. If you retire and don't take your pension, is it still growing or is it sit dormant and you don't get paid any more or less the longer you wait? So we got to know those rules. Make sure we understand what's going on in that pension. If you're married, maximize for we. You will have that choice of joint payouts or 50% to the survivor or 75% to the survivor. There's ways that you can calculate this. I know we don't know how long we're going to live, but we got to look at this from we standpoint. This is your employer buying an annuity, by the way. Just so you know, the vast majority of private companies, they just take a lump sum and buy an annuity from an insurance company. So your third choice is buying an annuity yourself. A lot of people don't realize this. Enron's out of business, but their pension still pays out to those that started collecting before they went bankrupt. Because all they did was take a lump sum and they handed it over to an insurance company, and those that were collecting that pension before the company went out, pension's still paying out. I've seen them. Okay, so that's the nice thing. Annuities are that self-funding choice. Create your own pension. So for those of you that have big mounds of money but very little income and you're only relying on Social Security, trust me, you're going to feel uncomfortable unless you have little to no bills in retirement. The goal is to have enough guaranteed income to pay your base living expenses. That's the minimum. It's the requirement. Okay? Now, if you have 2,000 a month in bills and 2,000 a month in Social Security, okay, you met that minimum requirement, but don't necessarily need an income annuity. And there's really three different types of income annuities. One's an immediate annuity, meaning just annuitize my money. Now it has no cash value. The insurance company is guaranteeing a payment to me for the rest of my life. I sure hope you're using an A-rated insurance company because they got to be around for the rest of your life. MIGAs and all the other types of annuities out there don't matter as much as something that has to be around for the rest of your life. And there's plenty of backups and guarantees in there as well. Okay? But again, remember your pension, that literally is what this is. Government pensions are just running their own annuity company. That's all they're doing. The rest of the private pensions out there, the vast majority, just offload it and send it to an insurance company. So the different types, well, you can choose the now or you can choose deferred, meaning be proactive. If you're within 5 years of retirement, you can choose to put money in now and they'll define how it will grow and then pay out whenever you raise your hand and say, start paying me my payment, just like a company pension. Company pensions were created based on income annuities. Okay, and the vast majority of them just buy an annuity. So the nice thing about these annuities, they accept IRA, Roth, and after-tax savings. You can use any kind of money. Regulators are trying to get these into 401ks because they recognize the fact that the pension system went away as the 401k appeared. And they know that this is a big answer to a reliable, enjoyable retirement is more income, right? You can't run out of that paycheck. That paycheck shows up whether the stock market's doing good or not. Okay, so there's two different types of deferred income annuities. One is a variable annuity. The other one is the fixed version of it. It's a fixed deferred income annuity, right? So you can annuitize the money and give it to the insurance company and they'll pay you a payment for the rest of your life. That is literally what pensions are. Or you can create this withdrawal benefit and you can be proactive and build a plan. So everybody needs these in their own ways, whether it's through pensions or even Social Security, which was based on the annuity world. They use the same actuary tables and everything else. So lots of choices out there, but you need to maximize those choices. This is the secret to your comfortable retirement. Look at your base living expenses, not the extra fun, not the travel, not the going out to movies every day, out to dinner every day. I'm talking about base living expenses. Keep the shelter over your head. Make sure you have at least enough guaranteed income to pay those base living expenses. This is what will absolutely turn the tables in retirement and help you enjoy it instead of worrying about the performance of day-to-day investing. Okay? This helps you go enjoy it and it allows you to invest better, right? You're not as afraid of the ups and downs of the stock market when you're not relying on the savings to keep your lights on. So I hope that gives you perspective. Let me know if I can help out in any way, either sesweb.net or your investment counselor. You can always jump on either of those websites and schedule an appointment directly with me. Happy to meet over Zoom unless you're here in Arizona, and then we always like meeting in person and whenever possible. I'm licensed everywhere and happy to help out anywhere and everywhere. We do have full classes we run through a nonprofit organization, different topic every month, lots of different opportunities to watch the live classes. fpfeaz.org. Jump on there, you'll find the full class schedule and you can register for classes. Certainly subscribe. I got new videos all the time. We got over 300 videos, so like, share, subscribe, do all those wonderful things, and I hope to see you soon. I hope this helped. Thanks. Talk to you soon. Bye now.